What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on B Mills Wrestling. In today's video, I'm going to be reading your guys' WWE Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a series I like to do at least once a week, where I read your guys' WWE Hot Takes either on X or on TikTok. And I'm going to link my TikTok down in the description if you guys want to follow it. You can be a part of the next WWE Hot Takes video by commenting as soon as I post that video. Hot Takes, like I said, it's a video series where I look at your guys' hot takes, whether that's Monday Night Raw hot takes, Friday Night SmackDown, a PLE we just had, or just a hot take in general revolving around the WWE, and I react to it, telling you whether I agree with it or disagree with it. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads, and don't forget to leave a like down below. Alright guys, let's get into these hot takes. The first hot take we have on here says, "It's the same thing every week. Seth and his group beat up people and that's it. It gets old." I completely disagree with you. This is exactly how you build up a faction that you want to look strong. They obviously see a lot in this faction. The future of WWE in Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, who's taken a huge leap over this past year, and then Seth Rollins, who's obviously, one of the faces of WWE right now. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. Obviously, that big win at WrestleMania 41 in the main event, and then, Paul Heyman coming to his aid, right? Obviously, they see a lot still with Seth Rollins, even though he's been around for years. This is a huge group that WWE, they want to build to the very top. The way they do that is have them look as strong as they possibly can. So yeah, I am completely fine with every show ending like this, because that's how you build a faction. You're going to create a faction with the future of WWE and Seth Rollins, who's the world champion, and make them look weak? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. I think this is exactly what you have to do. Obviously, we know down the line, Seth is eventually going to lose. Braun and Bronson are eventually going to lose. The group's eventually going to split up. But as we have them right now, you have to make them look strong. It would just be a bad decision to have them look weak. I don't get bored by the endings every week. I think that it's beneficial, right? I think that, a lot of people are complaining about the matches in the main events of Raw ending in DQs. I think it's necessary because I don't think you want to necessarily have one of the guys we just saw in that tag match on Monday Night Raw in the main event. You don't really want to have any of those guys take the pin. I thought it was dumb that Bronson Reed got pinned at SummerSlam by Jey Uso. I think that was their first mistake with this faction. But I love how ever since then, they've just been building it up really well. And this is exactly what I want to see. So I disagree with you. I think in order for this faction to look strong, to look believable, I think they have to, stand tall after every episode of Monday Night Raw. The next hot take we have on here says, "I truly believe Bayley will turn heel. She seemed lost, and she feels like she doesn't have anyone and nowhere else to go." Yeah, I think that's obviously what they're trying to tell us, is that Bayley is going to be a heel eventually, right? Whether that's a week, 2 weeks, a month, she is turning heel no matter what. I cannot wait because Bayley, she just thrives as a heel. It comes way more natural to her. I have enjoyed her babyface run, but her as a heel, it's just so much better. It makes her, so much more interesting. So I am 100% here for it. And that promo she did was excellent. It felt real as hell, right? And I think a lot of it, a part of it was really her saying that she's just unhappy with what she's been doing lately. Missing SummerSlam, missing WrestleMania. I feel like a part of that's kind of real. Obviously, some of it does have to do with the storyline, but I am excited for this heel Bayley. I think this could be maybe the most dangerous version of Bayley that we've ever seen. Maybe it's a world where Bayley gets the WWE Championship back. I think there's possibilities there. And I obviously do think that she's coming after Lyra Valkyria. I don't think that that's over. I don't think that they're just going to go in their separate ways and that's it, right? No, I think we are going to get a proper feud between these two one-on-one now that, Becky Lynch is essentially out of the picture and she's moved on to other things with her Intercontinental Championship. I think we get heel Bayley versus face Lyra, and this once again just helps elevate Lyra Valkyria, who's your young star who had a big feud with Becky Lynch, and now she's about to have a great feud with Bayley as well. So I'm super excited for her. But as for Bayley, I'm even more excited because, like I said, she's just so much better as a heel, and I just cannot wait to see what they can do with her on this run. The next hot take we have on here says, "Loving the step-up evolution of LA Knight into the main event scene. He showed a little bit of heel tendencies tonight, just like his old NXT persona. A desperate Knight searching for his first championship and coming up short is going to be interesting. Yeah." I 100% agree. I really love him being in the main event scene. I'm not the biggest LA Knight guy, but I will admit I was getting really sick and tired of him in the U.S. title scene. It was just so repetitive and the same stuff. He was shooting with the same people in the Bloodline Vortex, Shinsuke Nakamura. It was so bad. I just wanted to see him get out of that, even if that was going to the main event picture. And I think that he's kind of fitting in perfectly with what's going on with Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I really did like that interaction between him and Punk because I feel like that they're kind of similar in a way. So I really like that. I know they're both baby faces right now, but I do hope that down the line we can get a one-on-one match between LA Knight and CM Punk. I feel like that would be huge. But it's just so refreshing, like I said, to see LA Knight, feuding with guys like CM Punk, with Jey Uso, with Seth Rollins, with the Braun and Bronson. Like, it's just so refreshing, that he's finally not on SmackDown anymore. And I would assume that he's just a Raw superstar at this point. They haven't officially said that, but he hasn't been on SmackDown in a little while. But like I said, super excited for this. I don't expect him to obviously win the Fatal 4-Way at Clash in Paris. I do expect Seth Rollins to retain his title in his first defense as champion, or his second defense, I should say. But yeah, a story of LA Knight continuing to come up short, that could be something, right? He has never won a world championship in WWE. I think he's about 40 to 42 years old. I'm not 100% sure, but he doesn't have as much time as a guy like Bron Breakker does in WWE to win a world championship. So that definitely could be a storyline. Obviously, they're doing the whole underdog thing with Sami Zayn. I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a little different, where LA Knight, he just is chasing that world championship, but it's not the whole, I'm an underdog, I can't win, the big one. They can obviously do it in a different way, but yeah, I'm super excited for LA Knight. I hope that down the line he does win a world championship. Like I said, I'm not the biggest LA Knight guy, but I could definitely see him winning a world championship within the next couple of years, and I think it would be an awesome moment for him because he has worked really hard to get to this point. The next hot take we have says, they did the same thing they did with Austin Theory. For months, they teased Finn turning on Dominic, and now it's like they totally forgot about that storyline. My brother, I don't think that they forgot about that storyline. I think Liv Morgan's injury derailed that storyline. I think 100% we were going to get the betrayal of Finn Balor on Dominic Mysterio, but I think with Liv getting hurt, that just ruined everything. Because I do think that the plan was probably to do Finn and Roxanne versus Dom and Liv Morgan, because I do think Dom was going to stay loyal to Liv, right? I think with her getting hurt, that forced them to go in a different way. I do think that Dom and Finn was probably going to be the SummerSlam match, or like I said, that mixed tag match, or maybe that was before or after. But I definitely don't think that Dom versus AJ was the originally planned SummerSlam match. I feel like they only did that because this storyline kind of got messed up. And I feel like you can't really go anywhere until Liv gets back from injury, which could be months. Who knows? I hope it's sooner rather than later. But I don't think that they just forgot about this storyline. Yeah, Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, they completely, fumble that storyline. So I'm not going to speak on that. But this one, I don't feel like that's, the case. I think that they were going to do it. But like I said, I think that the Liv injury just kind of screwed this over, and I don't think they're going to resume, this storyline until Liv gets back, unfortunately. The next hot take we have says, they are the best tag team on Monday Night Raw. Their next move has to be winning the tag team titles. I 1,000,000% agree with you on that one. I think that they definitely should win those tag titles because the Raw tag division is absolutely dead. Nobody gives a damn about the tag team division. WWE themselves don't care about that tag division. I think the way that they can help save it is by giving the titles to Braun and Bronson because they're the best thing going. They're not even in the tag division, but they're the best thing going in that tag division. Make that make sense. Everybody's interested in Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Braun Breaker, he's the future of WWE, right? The audience, they love him, they engage with him, right? Bronson Reed, who has recently really gotten over with the crowd with the whole Shula Fala thing. He's got people chanting Shula Fala. Putting the tag titles on them would make them relevant again. Please pull the trigger and just do this. Have them destroy the Judgment Day, right? Just take the titles. I don't care if it's heel versus heel. I don't care. Give the tag titles to Braun and Bronson. That way, Seth is your World Heavyweight Champion, and then these two are your tag team champions. That's perfect. That would make that faction, it already looks great in my opinion. That would make the faction look 1,000,000 times better if they had all the gold. I would really love this. I do hope that they do it. Obviously, they haven't put Braun and Bronson in, the tag division, fighting guys like the New Day, and, the Judgment Day. But I really hope that they do, because, like I said, this is a perfect way to make those tag team championships feel relevant. And, I wouldn't even care if they held the titles, all the way till WrestleMania. I think this is a must. They need to do this. The next hot take we have on here says, with Dom being busy with AAA, AJ should win the IC title, and should have a feud with Ilya when he comes back. Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that this is the right move for WWE. I love Dominic Mysterio as IC champion. I wouldn't mind if he beat AJ in their rematch, which I think will be at Clash in Paris. But I think with the fans in Paris, France being behind AJ Styles, I feel like it's going to be an awesome moment to see AJ win the title. I also just don't see AJ losing back-to-back PLEs for the same title against the same person. I don't feel like WWE is going to do that. I think they will give AJ one final proper run as IC champion. And, for Dom, being busy with the AAA stuff, yeah, I think Dom should win that AAA championship. He is so over in Mexico, so I think it is the right decision to put that title on him, especially if he's going to lose the IC title. That way he still has a title, and obviously they've been showcasing the AAA titles on WWE, so obviously he can have that title instead of the IC title. I don't think it hurts him too much, especially if you're losing to a legend like AJ Styles. But yeah, like you said, Ilya Dragunov versus AJ Styles, that is a dream match. Like, I would love for them to go into that. It has been rumored on Twitter. I'm assuming that's where you saw that. Ilya, he's obviously cleared for action. I do expect him to return within the next month or two, depending on when he's like ready and he's all ramped up to get back in the ring. And yeah, whether this is the first feud for AJ Styles as IC champion or the second or the third, however long they wait to do this, I just hope that they do it at some point. Because like I said, this is a dream match. The technical wrestling between these two, it would just be insane. And I totally wouldn't mind if Ilya was the one to take the title off of AJ. I just can't wait for Ilya to come back because he was doing some good stuff before he went down. He was feuding with like Braun Breaker, Ricochet, who I know is not in WWE anymore. He was going to feud with Finn Balor. Like, they had big plans for him, or at least it seemed. And then obviously tearing his ACL on a live show, like that obviously sucked. Took him out of action for a year, but I hope that they can just pick up right where they left off with them, put them right back in that mid-card championship scene with guys like Dominic Mysterio, with guys like AJ Styles, who I presume will be the champion. As long as he's in there, I think that he will absolutely thrive. And a match with AJ Styles, boy, would that cook. The next hot take we have on here says, if Roman's not in the Fatal 4-Way, the only thing that would make sense to me is a match between the Tribal Chief and the Tribal Thief. Yeah, I do think this is where WWE is going with Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. Obviously, he's not the poster boy of the entire PLE if he's just not going to be on it. He is advertised for the Monday Night Raw in Philly, and the week after that, the 2 Raw is building up to Clash in Paris. So yeah, he's going to have a match at Clash. Obviously, he's not included in the Fatal 4-Way, which I know a lot of people are disappointed because they didn't want Jey Uso in that match. They wanted Roman instead. I get that, but I don't think Roman should be competing for that World Heavyweight Championship. I really don't. That's not what his story is about. His story with Seth Rollins, it doesn't need that title. It's not about that title. So I don't think that he needs to be in that match. I also don't want to see, those two in the same ring, in the same match together up until maybe War Games when they do maybe like a Team Roman versus Team Seth, or even just WrestleMania. We all presume that's the WrestleMania match. So yeah, I really don't want to see Roman fighting for that world title. Also because he kind of shot on the world title going up to WrestleMania 40, saying it was a secondary prize, right? So yeah, I don't think he should go after that championship. I think that feud doesn't need the championship, so I don't think he should be competing for it. And a match between the Tribal Chief and the Tribal Thief, I mean, come on, that's so good. I think with Bronson Reed just bullying Roman Reigns, schoolyard bullying him, taking his shoes after every time he beats him up, yeah, I think that Roman needs to get his get back, right? He can't just let that slide. I think that they should do that match at Clash in Paris, because I don't expect them to do Roman versus Braun Breaker yet. I feel like that could be a match later down the line that they could do it like a SummerSlam or even a WrestleMania. Not this WrestleMania, but I think down the line, definitely that's a bigger match than Roman versus Bronson. But I definitely do want to see Roman versus Bronson because I think that, this could really help Bronson Reed. This will be the biggest match of his career. The match with Seth Rollins, that was the biggest match of his career to this point. I do think Roman Reigns is more box office than Seth Rollins, so I think that Roman Reigns will be the greatest match of Bronson Reed's career. I don't know if I can, see Bronson Reed winning this match. I do, want to see them build up this faction and have like Bronson and Braun pick up wins. But I just don't know if I see a world where Bronson beats Roman Reigns, pins him clean in a match. I don't know if the match would be clean. Obviously Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker maybe could get involved. I'm not sure if it would be Seth Rollins because he has a match that same night. So Braun Breaker could get involved, but I really just don't see Roman Reigns losing this match. But regardless, this is huge for Bronson Reed, and I'm just so happy to see Roman Reigns, getting a singles match on a PLE. This is the first time he's had one since WrestleMania 40. So I am excited for this match, and I'm not mad that he's not in the Fatal 4-Way. The next hot take we have on here says, I believe in third time's the charm, and I definitely believe Drew McIntyre will win the championship at Clash in Paris. Man, if you're right on this, it's going to be something. I really don't think Drew McIntyre is going to win at Clash in Paris. I think that there's maybe a 15% chance that he walks out of Clash as champion. Obviously, that match hasn't gotten announced for Clash in Paris yet, but I presume it will. The way Drew McIntyre just absolutely bodied Cody Rhodes, Claymored him through the announce table, which was an insane spot, by the way. I'm super excited for this feud and rivalry because obviously we've had teasers in the past. We've gotten a match with not really any storyline. We've gotten a couple promos that, have gotten interrupted and stuff like that. But now we can fully get into Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. They have history. They were tag team champions in the past, right? And then Drew just being the best heel on SmackDown and Cody being the babyface. This is the match. I really am excited for this feud. I hope that it's more than one match as well. I would like 2 to 3 matches. And this is an ongoing rivalry. Think about Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. That was a long rivalry that had 3 matches in it. So I do hope that they do the same thing with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. But as for Drew winning, I don't know if I see it happening. Like I said, I think like a 15% chance is fair. I mean, he could, right? If Cody Rhodes goes away for a while to film Street Fighter, maybe Drew McIntyre will win the title. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see Cody losing his first feud, not only his first feud for the championship, but his first title defense. I don't see him losing the title in his first title defense. I can't see that happening. I wouldn't be mad if Drew won the title because I love Drew McIntyre and he belongs in the main event scene. He belongs, fighting for the world title. But like I said, I just don't see it happening. Maybe in like their second or third match, if they, like I said, do like multiple matches. But as for the first match, I don't know. It has been a thing where Drew McIntyre loses at Clash in Paris, like you said, third time's a charm maybe. He has lost at the last 2 Clash in Parises. So I don't know if I see him winning this. They might keep the streak going. He might go 0-3. But either way, super excited for this feud and match. The final WWE hot take that we have on here says, Cena wasting 2 PLEs with Logan, but no Seth Rollins or AJ Styles is criminal. Yeah, I do agree with this. I am disappointed that it's Cena versus Logan. Don't get me wrong, I like Logan Paul. I think he's a fantastic wrestler, and I honestly kind of like him outside of WWE too. I know that a lot of people don't, but I just don't like him in the main event scene because he does not belong there. I think Logan is the perfect mid-card guy. I've said that a lot. I think he should be fighting for the IC title, the US title. I just don't see him as a main event type of guy. And feuding with John Cena on his retirement tour that's ridiculous to me. Like, I really don't know why that's happening. The tag match at Money in the Bank, by far, in my opinion, was John Cena's worst match in this retirement tour. It made no sense. I just didn't like how he was teaming with Logan. They could have chose, like, anybody else, but no. Logan Paul. Like, it made no sense. I hated that. I thought, maybe that's it. They're never going to do this again. Now that John Cena's a babyface, we're going to get a babyface John Cena versus a heel Logan Paul. I do think this is a good opportunity for John Cena to just absolutely fry Logan on the mic, though, because let's be honest, like, he is going to take that kid to school. Like, John Cena, back to being a babyface, he can really cut, like, his old school promos, and then Logan Paul just being, like, that douchebag heel. Like, yeah, John Cena, he's going to have a fun time on the mic. I don't know what we're going to get from, the match standpoint, because I feel like their styles are very different. Logan's very fast-paced, and John Cena's not at this point of his career. But I hope that it's somewhat of a decent match. But, I don't really love, John Cena, wasting a lot of these, dates on Logan Paul. Because he's going to waste 2 more leading to Clash in Paris. And then Clash in Paris itself, that's 3 dates on Logan Paul. I just don't love that. I really want to see AJ Styles versus John Cena at, some point in this retirement tour. But as the time is ticking, I don't know if we're going to get that. I'm thinking we're not. Same thing with Seth Rollins. I don't think we're going to get Seth at all, to be honest with you, because Seth's the World Heavyweight Champion. Seth's on Raw. I just don't see a world where that happens. I know AJ Styles is also on Raw, but I feel like there's more of a possibility to do that because John Cena, like I said, I don't think he's going to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think he's fighting for any more world titles. I think we're done with that, obviously. But yeah, I agree with you. I think them wasting a couple of PLEs on Logan and just, more of Cena's dates in general is kind of preposterous. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up down below. Don't forget to comment down below what future videos you guys would like to see from me. Alright guys, peace.